A humanitarian organization, Gift of the Givers, is calling on Al-Qaeda to release South African Gerco van Deventer from captivity. He is currently being held hostage in Mali, where Van Deventer was a paramedic in Libya when he was kidnapped back in 2017, subsequently sold to Al-Qaeda in Mali. The organization says it is calling for Van Deventer to be released on compassionate grounds in the holy month of Ramadan, known as the month of mercy. So for this and more, we're joined via Zoom by Dr Imtiaz Sooliman, founder of Gift of the Givers. Dr Imtiaz, thank you for your time here on the SABC.
Good afternoon, Aliza. Thank you very much.
Perhaps you can give us a background on what happened that led to his captivity in Libya. Also an update since Mohamed Yehi Diko arrived in Bamako, Mali.
It started in 2019, basically 2018. Well, let's go before that. In 2015, we were involved in Mali already, seeking the release of Stephen McGowan. We were also involved with seeking the release of Johan Gustafsson, the Swedish national. And after that point, around 2017, 2018, a South African Christoph Botma and an Indian national, Mr. Patel, were taken from Burkina Faso. So we got involved again with the same group negotiating for their release. Unfortunately, the South African was killed in Mali. But of course, up to today, it remains haven't been brought home. Around 2018, the same intermediaries sent us a message to say, do you know there's a South African in Mali? So we said, which South African is in Mali? We don't know about any South African in Mali. And then they told us a story about him coming from Libya. And then we figured it out that Gerco van Deventer, who was taken hostage in Libya around November 2017, was then sold to the Al-Qaeda group in Mali. 8 months after he was taken hostage in 2017. And that's why these people sent us the message. The family asked us to get involved, and in 2019 we got involved. They, of course, it's always about money or about releasing friends who are prisoners, or a combination of both. The initial asking was $3 million US. We managed to bring it down to $500,000, but we couldn't do more than that because, of course, government doesn't pay, the family doesn't have the means, and the company that he worked for, unfortunately, sort of left him on the side because with him, 3 Turkish engineers from that same company were taken hostage with him in Libya. The Turkish company paid for those 3 Turkish nationals, and Gerco was just left alone. So there was no means to support him. And then, of course, waiting, and eventually COVID came in, and everything just went silent for the past few years. In January, we received a video from the same intermediaries who we built a relationship with. And they said, you showed us a video, it's a proof of life video, where Gerco is asking for somebody to help him. The captors are trying to get hold of the government. They can't make contact. He's okay, he wants to come home. And we left it because we had no leverage. We didn't have any means to discuss or negotiate because there was nobody to pay. A few weeks ago, we got a message again from the same intermediaries to say a French guy is released. We couldn't understand the relevance, what could Gerco do with us? And 2 days later, a French radio station called to say, a French national has been released. He was in captivity for 2 years, but in the last 6 months of those 2 years, he was with Gerco van Deventer. And Gerco gave a message that when he comes out, please contact anybody who can help to take him out. At that point, now being the beginning of Ramadan, me and the negotiator, Mohamed Yehi Diko, thought, what could be the best option? We can't keep going back to say we're negotiating when you know you've got nothing to pay with. That will make them very, very angry. So we came up with an idea that since it's the month of Ramadan, let's try a different strategy and make it clear from the beginning that we're not coming with any money. We're coming to ask on compassionate grounds that this is the month of mercy. You've got a guy held, unlawfully against his will. You shouldn't be doing that. You should release him. Can you please consider? And we decided then to ask the wife, Shani van Deventer, and the son to make a video. The video was sent across last week, sometime before, around Thursday, Friday, before Yahya went to Mali. We decided that he should go to Mali also. So on Saturday he left, on Sunday he was there, he got there quite late on Sunday. On Monday he made telephonic contact with the key intermediary, the man who actually led us to the release of Stephen McGowan. But the man was not in the country. He was in Saudi Arabia in pilgrimage. And he said he's only coming back the coming weekend, which is after Eid. And he told Yahya, please don't leave, wait for me, we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, on Tuesday, Yahya then met the other intermediaries. The ones who sent us the message in 2018, who helped us in 2019, who sent us the video in January this year, and they start speaking to us. The next day, they sent us another video, a proof of life video taken in March. And in that video, Yahya says again he wants people to help him. He hasn't seen his family. He doesn't know the state of his family, his wife and his 3 children. He says he's been shot in the arm. We don't know when he was shot, but he looks fine on the video, except the emotional part, where he doesn't know the state of his family, and the fact that he says they've taken his freedom from him, he wants to be released. It's 5 years, 5 months. And so Yahya is there now. Again, we made it very clear that we don't want money. We decided, of course, we made an appeal in Ramadan. On Friday night, we were our team members were at an event for the Muslim Judicial Council. They are one of the most recognized theological bodies in the country. And spontaneously, the Vice President then agreed to make a video and to put a message to ask for Gerco's unconditional release. He speaks Arabic. So we made the video in Arabic. That was sent across on Friday night. Last night, in Pelican Park, there was the iftar, the breaking of fast, and 3,000 people turned up of all faiths. Gift of the Givers funds the program, and everybody's welcome. The community leader, 3-4 days ago, before the event, told us that she has a plan, or she has this idea to make a call to Al-Qaeda at the event itself, and the children and adults and men and women will come with the placards, and the placards will say, free Gerco and whatever else they want to write there. So on last night, 3,000 people turned up. She made the video. We've sent that video, the footage of all the placards and the people celebrating, the fast breaking together across also. And all of these have been forwarded to the intermediaries and to the captors. So the final point is that the means or the methodology or the request or the strategy being used, that we're using Ramadan as a means to say, please release him unconditionally. And we're saying up front, we're not negotiating anymore.
Yeah.
We're not saying there's an answer. We're not saying we're going to get anybody out. We're telling you straight, there is no money.
Dr. Imtiaz, I just want to know if there's been a willingness from the South African government to use its diplomacy to aid his release. What responses are you getting? Also, just very quickly, because Gerco was bought and not captured for that sense, how imminent is his release?
It's well, Gerco, we haven't spoken to Gerco, neither have they contacted us. So, and this happened very, very quickly. We just decided on the spur of the moment because we're running out of days. We only got 5 more days left for Ramadan. So on the spur of the moment, very quickly, and Yahya just went across. There's few complications. One is the fact that he was paid for and bought. For them, this is an investment. It's a commodity. They need their money back. To that, they add expenses. When you ask them what is expenses, they'll tell you food, clothing, medical services, water, accommodation, and transport, because they move you from place to place within the desert.
Yeah.
That makes a complication. But what balances that out is the fact that it's 5 years and 5 months. And we send a message to say that if there was money, and if somebody could pay, who's going to leave their father or their son or family member in captivity for 5 years and 5 months? We told you from the beginning there's no money. We told you later on there's no money. We're telling you again now there's no money. So even if you keep him there for another 50 years, it's not going to change the situation. It's your option to decide whether you just, out of the compassion of your heart, and understand there is no money, and let the man go. And that's where we stand right now.
All right, Dr. Imtiaz, let's continue to monitor those developments as it unfolds. Thank you for your time here on the SABC. Founder of Gift of the Givers, Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, giving us an update, calling on Al-Qaeda to release South African Gerco van Deventer from captivity, currently being held in hostage in Mali for about 5.5 years now.